that cities in India had very little information of underground infrastructure. That includes your water pipeline infrastructure, wastewater pipeline infrastructure. So what happens, because this information is not available, is that more than half of water in distribution ends up leaking out of pipes and not reaching tap. So more than half of the water is lost in distribution. And if you look at wastewater, the problems were even more alarming. More than 80% of the wastewater that was being generated in Indian cities was being discharged into lakes, rivers and coastline, as you can see here. This water ends up in Mutha River, which is the major river that flows through Pune city. And we identified the root cause as unmapped, unmanaged underground wastewater infrastructure. And we realized that by digitizing that infrastructure, by actually putting sensors, robots inside and gathering data, we could actually get the cities to increase wastewater treatment and reuse. We were initially monitoring this wastewater to help increase treatment. So when we would monitor a drain like this, we would quantify the amount of wastewater flowing through a drain like this, and we would identify whether it's domestic waste, industrial waste. And at the same time, we would monitor adjacent sewer pipelines. So underground here, there's a network of sewage pipelines. So we would send robots in there, we would send robots into the sewage pipelines, and we would basically analyze how much of this wastewater we could divert into sewage pipelines, and did the sewage pipelines have additional capacity, and were they connected to treatment facilities. So we would help cities intercept and divert wastewater for treatment and reuse. So initially a technology was built around helping cities manage infrastructure, so putting robots into pipes, gathering data from inside pipes, building cutting edge artificial intelligence to identify the kind of defects that were present, how severe or critical the condition of the infrastructure was. So that's how our services started. So we would help cities intercept and divert wastewater for treatment and reuse. But in terms of the amount of wastewater that we've monitored in India itself, that's crossed about 1 billion liters a day of urban pollution that has now been monitored using our devices, and about 70% of that, so about 700 million liters a day, is now being treated and reused after our solutions were deployed. And these were problems that were more focused, taking into mind the Indian context, right? The problems that are prevalent here, you won't see such problems, necessarily in Europe or the US. But we were lucky, and we realized that the analytics capabilities that we built in addition to the robots and sensors that we were deploying, had a very beautiful use case outside of India. And we started deploying our analytics solutions. In India, we are limited by our own hardware, right? Our analytics was happening on data collected by our own hardware, and we realized that we could actually plug into any hardware in the world. And in the last 6 odd months, we've been doing that quite successfully. Now we have expanded to North America, South America and the Asia Pacific region, just by using our analytics and plugging into existing hardware that's already there. In the last 6 months, we're already deployed our analytics in 6 countries. In the last 6 months itself, we've analyzed more than 1.5 million feet of wastewater pipelines using our analytics platform.